Hi everybody, Bill here. Hey, I'm going to take my favorite implement out, the Pulverizer. If you'd like to join me, come on along right now on Adventures in Iowa. Well, hi again everybody. You know, I had a viewer say, I'm looking forward to your next adventure. And I thought, you know, that kind of represents what I do here very well, so you may see a small logo change. Alright, I'm pulling into where I buy black dirt. It's sold by the pound, and today I'm going to buy 3 tons. Each scoop is about 1.5 tons, so I take 2 scoops. This is the better dirt. If you look at your screen in the lower left corner, that's a non-screened product. See how chunky it is? And this has gone through a screen, and it's a little bit better. So that's what we're buying today. The trailer weighs 3,000 pounds empty, and then with 3 ton, that's 6, that's 9,000 pounds. And my transmission and truck will pull 10,000 pounds, so that's kind of why I stop at 2 scoops, 2 loader scoops also. Alright, there was one, no sense of showing the same thing for the second scoop. Let's go home. And now we're going to get out one of my favorite implements, the soil pulverizer. Really like this. This is 3 implements in one. You can see I've got it on a pallet on wheels. And I get the heavy duty wheels at Harbor Freight. Some of you call it Hobo Freight. And it really makes it easy to move around. Alright, first thing we got to do is take the backhoe off. And unlike the John Deere videos that show it so simple, I'm going to show you here how I do it. It's not always like the video on TV that you see, but today went pretty well. First thing I'm doing is positioning that dipper stick and the backhoe there into about this position right here that you're going to see. The boom in the dipper stick. Now I'm going to put just a little pressure on that, and that's going to raise that frame of that backhoe up so it'll release the pins inside. Now that left pin came right off. Look at that. Here's the right pin. See how stubborn it is? A friend of mine, Mark, said be sure that your draft links are level with each other. So I checked that and they were fine, because I thought that would have been a good smoky gun to find. But you can see I just have to monkey around with it, and you just have to change the pressures. The instructions don't say you have to. See? You just monkey around, and then you get that pressure just right. And you'll notice I have the outriggers down too. I use those too once in a while to change that pressure. So now we're going to lower these draft links by using this draft link control. Alright, so I've let it down. Now let's go back and I'm going to show you. See, it fell out of that slot. See that slot right there? So now the pins are out of the tractor, the draft links are down, I can drive ahead. Now don't do it like I did once. Don't drive too far ahead because your hydraulic hoses are still connected. So you're going to see me pull ahead here just enough so I can get into the hydraulic hoses a little bit easier. I always let all the pressure off the system, so I'm lowering the bucket. That takes pressure off everything. And that allows me to disconnect the male-female connection there so much easier. To leave the bucket up, sometimes I've found that it's difficult to get off. First thing I check is, do I have pressure on the hydraulic system? Then I clean everything out and put the dust caps back in there. And then we'll, the bottom 2 is what we're going to take off. I remember it B, bottom for backhoe. And the top is my lines going to my grapple. And I also put the top link there. Okay, so with those hoses off, now see I can drive ahead. Everything's disconnected. And then I'm going to take this rod off here and place it so I don't lose it right here in the backhoe assembly. Alright, so now we're finally getting somewhere. Let's go ahead and we're going to back up and hook up to the pulverizer. And you notice my hand gesture? I'm just trying to stay in the center, match the green to the light tan there, and that'll put me in line left and right. It's interesting sitting here on the side watching this view. I'm shouting here saying, lower it and change the angle. Not lower it. Lower it. Come on, lower it. There you go. Now back up. And you just have to match that angle of how it's sitting on the pallet. And once you got that, bingo, everything's hooked up. Sure works nice. And then with that power tilt, I can tilt it forward and get away from that pallet. So it really works nice. Really like that. If you like the videos on the soil pulverizer, I'll put a link at the top of the description. So check in down there and I'll lead you to some other videos with this. Now this is the Land Pride SP3072. It means it's 72 inches wide. And it has it's set up for 50 horsepower max. It has 25 shanks right there, the scarifiers I call them. It has 206 spikes in that double roller. And the spring pressure on that roller on the front is 32 pounds an inch, and then 15 pounds an inch on the rear roller. And you can see they just freewheel. They just drag along there and turn. 2 grease zerks. You always want to grease before you get out there and get going. And speaking of that, let's look at the project and get pulverizing something. So you can see the 2 piers I poured. I'm going to build a deck next year off my house there. So they're in place, so I got to be conscious of where they're at so I don't hit them and break them. We've had a drought this year. We had real good rain in June, July, and then August it just shut off and has really gotten dry. And I don't know if I'm making a mistake planting here in August or not, but we're going to find out together. So let's go ahead and we're going to get the pulverizer lined up. I'm going to back in first and just kind of get a feel of the terrain there. And someone might ask, why don't you use a tiller? Well, listen to all the rocks in here. I've done a rock pickup several times, but you'll hear some tings in there and some bigger rock noises. I don't want to get those in my tiller. The pulverizer here is such a good machine to go into a rough area like this, and I'm just simply not going to damage anything. I said a while back, this is 3 different implements for me. So as I go in here, I'm going to use the scarifiers to bust that crust up. And I can tilt the top link to make them more or less aggressive. And then if I want to move dirt, I'll put it real aggressive and I'll let the H-beam there in the middle pull dirt to where I want it, then I can raise it up and feather it out. Then the rollers in the back, those little pins in there, just break up and pulverize all the chunks that need pulverizing. I don't know how else to say it. So here's the view from my seat. Careful not to hit the stone. Now we're just going to go back and forth here and just get this scarified up first. Then we'll figure out how to put a swale in here so the water runs away from my house. Hey, let's take a few moments and get some shout-outs to people who have taken time to say hello and let me know where they're watching from. Ty, he's a longtime viewer out in California. He commented on the last box blade video and said he actually wore his ripper teeth ends off and bought replacements for him. So, boy, he must be using a life out of that. Good for you, Ty. Another shout-out to Randy Jacobs for asking me why my brake lights are on. They're still on in this video. You're going to see them disappear. It's because I shoot out of sequence, but they're going to go away here soon, Randy. Jim Bennett checked in. He's got a grader blade on his wish list. Hope that comes for him. Dean out in Jacksonburg, West Virginia, says it's awful dry out there. Same way here, Dean. We got a few inches of rain recently, and it was desperately needed. Aaron, Mark, Chris in Texas all checked in. Hey, and listen to this. Leon checked in from Queensland, Australia. How awesome is that? And then John checked in from Montreal, Canada. Isn't that amazing? This simple little video seen north to south. That's crazy. And then Greg checked in from Auckland, New Zealand. Cliff checked in from Tennessee. And Chris up in the near the Twin Cities. Corcoran, Minnesota, up near the Twin Cities. Said he just bought a Frontier rear blade for his 1025. And Michael checked in. Oh, Waldo checked in from Choctaw, Oklahoma. So thanks for checking in. Let me know you're watching from, everybody. I sure appreciate it. Well, we're starting to take a little shape here now. Comment some of my technique. Sometimes I push down on that roller real hard so it pushes some dirt like it's doing right now, and I can push that over where I want. Here you can see, kind of look at the wall, I'm getting my swale started. See how the wall's higher, then it comes down, and then I can start raising it. I want the water to wash away from the wall, get in that swale, not get near the house, but run towards that tree. So, like I said, this thing is so many different implements. I can move dirt around like a box blade or a grader blade. I use the roller pins to set seed and bust up clumps. Scarifier breaks up the ground real good. I can take it into areas where I'd never take a tiller because of the damage to the tines that would happen. So this is a really good. I wish I had more jobs for this pulverizer. That pile of bricks over there has got snakes living in it, so I'm not touching them till fall till it gets cooler and they decide to relocate. We got an agreement. If they don't scare me or surprise me, they can stay. So I saw one going in there one day, and I'm just going to let them alone till fall, and maybe they'll move on. Here I'm trying to slope that ground now a little bit. See how the pulverizer's kind of tilted? Ground's starting to look pretty good now. This is pretty poor soil up here where I live. It's not black dirt by any means, and I did buy some black dirt earlier in the video. We're going to put that on here too in some places. Now when I get over near the lawn, the existing lawn, I like to blend that together. So I'll go over to the scarifier and dig into that existing grass a little bit and try to smooth it out and marry those two sides together. That's always worked pretty good for me. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. It helps me out with that doggone analytics with YouTube. They really favor the larger channels, so the smaller channels really need your support, and I appreciate that. You might ask yourself why I don't have a Harley rake or use a Harley rake here. As much as I admire that design, that just wouldn't be practical around a house, because it would get a hold of those rocks and sling them. And I just never have been a fan of those, not around homes. Well, I think it's time now to do a little rock pickup. You can see a couple big ones there pop up. There was a nice one, so I'll pick all those up and throw them into the piles I've been creating around here, and then we'll haul those away. Then we're going to bring in some black dirt and wrap this project up. If only a guy worked this fast, right? And hand shoveled all the waste into the bucket there and got rid of it. I'll bet I had 3 bucketfuls like you saw. So it does a good job of raking that out of there. Got that remote controlled dump trailer I like. You just wake it up by pressing the 2 buttons at once, then it'll work. And then what I like to do is, since I'm going to pour it in the driveway here, I threw a tarp down this time, really not necessary. I like to lift it, I'll be on the seat and I'll just use that remote control, raise it up, fill up the bucket, stop it, and then we'll take the dirt to wherever I want to use it. Alright, so here's my travel path. I'll bring the dirt down here and I'll dump it in around this tree. It always washes out underneath this tree. Every year I put about this much dirt back in, and just to protect those roots from being exposed, you know. Then I'll dump a little up here on the side, and that'll take care of that. We'll get that pulverized and seeded and see how that turns out. Alright, I've top dressed some of the rockier, poorer soil with some black dirt. Now let's go ahead and mix it up. Love that top tilt, boy. You can just tilt that around, and there I'm just running the rollers, not the scarifiers. Then I can change the pitch and drop those scarifiers in. If I'm working around that tree, I don't want to nick any of the roots, so I'll be real gentle with those scarifiers if I use them at all. If you have ideas on videos you would like to see done, contact me through the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. If I have the implements or the ability to do it, I'll sure consider it. So start thinking about those projects you'd like to see. You probably notice there's some rock to the left of the tractor. That's my end point. That's where I'm going to stop. I'm not going to go all the way to the woods with this dirt. Now take a look at the tractor. See some lazy S-turns that I do? When the ground's wet or really compact, I'll do some S-turns so the scarifiers and the roller pin bust it up a little bit differently. I just noticed that helps me out quite a bit. Another thing I wanted to pass along was, if you're in four-wheel drive and you're driving on your finished lawn, you may tear it up. So just be aware of that as you're moving from your workspace to your finished lawn. Here's a lawn seat I'm going to put down. It's a mixture of full sun and deep shade. We're going to put that on pretty heavy. I just use a spreader like this to get it on, and it works real good for me over the past years. It's formulated and mixed for the Midwest area here, and I really have good luck with it. Again, it's going to be interesting to see, as dry as it is. I'm either going to be a fool for doing it this time of year or pretty lucky, one or the other. So I just really put her on heavy, and then we're going to top it with a little starter fertilizer. There's what it looks like when I get it on. Then I just want to hand rake around the foundation and up against that retaining wall. I don't want the tractor up against there. It went so much work to fix that, and there's a video out on that if you want to watch how I repaired that retaining wall. Now what I'm doing, since I have the seed and fertilizer in, I'm just going to run those rollers. Remember the pounds per square inch I told you about at the beginning of the video? So I'm just imagine putting that in and getting that seed in good contact with that dirt. And besides, I get to drive the implement and the tractor more, so. Hey, some of the videos I got coming up that are in the can, I got more grapple work coming, so we're going to video that. And then I've got another box blade project and another wood chipper project you may want to take a look at. It's really getting a nice level here, isn't it? So it's going to be easy to mow, and it's going to allow me to put that hydraulic lift I have in there and keep it on fairly level ground. Here's what it looks like, all poked full of holes. And when I get near the existing yard, I like to try to feather that in, so I'll sneak over onto that and try to marry those two together. Well, it's about time to wrap this project up. We'll just put the pulverizer away for another time. I would think the project savings on this is $2,500 to $3,000 if I was to hire that done. Look at how easy it is to take this implement off. You pull the levers, you put it on the pallet, you drop it off, you drive away. Well, here we are. This is probably 3 or 4 months later. It really came in good considering how dry August was. I thought it was going to burn it up. It actually looks better than other existing parts of my lawn. I'm surprised at that. But June, July must have had some good subsoil moisture. So it turned out okay. And you'll take a look at the right, the snakes left, so I put the caps back on the wall. So everybody was happy at the end of the day. Well, I sure appreciate everybody checking in. Let me know where you're watching from. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, or at least give me a thumbs up. It'd really help me out. So be kind, be safe, be healthy, and I'll talk to you real soon. So long, everybody.